You're listening to Mark of the Maker. Hey everybody, I'm Mark Steiner and you're listening to Mark of the Maker. And today we're going to do a little catch-up kind of show on a topic we've been talking about for a minute. Let's make sure we have everybody here. We have Mr. Tom Krein.
Hey guys.
And we have Mr. Michael Birch.
Hey all.
So Michael's back. Sean's off this time. He had some stuff going on tonight. We kind of recorded this one on short notice. So we're going to talk about Blade Show 2024, I think, right? We've been promising folks we need to get that in there.
It's in a timely manner.
It's still summer. And all jokes aside, we're really kidding. It's just summer is really busy and all of us are pulled in many different directions. So bear with us and we apologize.
Yeah, everybody's got a family and whatever. I think most people have a very busy time in the summer, right? But we're there too. So we're getting
We decided to shove everything into this summer.
yeah, you guys got everything going on.
Yeah.
All right, let's take care of business. Michael, you want to start us off?
Yeah. First and foremost, I want to thank Patreon folks. It's a very easy way to kind of give us a little cash to help pay for things like the microphones. We ship them back and forth when we interview folks. It just kind of keeps the light on, and that's at patreon.com. Just search for Mark of the Maker, and you can just put a little money that goes our way. It's extremely helpful to get this podcast out, doing it like we have been. So hit it up, and we appreciate you guys that have been members for a while. It helps us so much.
Yeah, I think not everybody that listens knows this, but we actually ship microphones all over the country. And most times when we interview someone, there have been maybe 2 or 3 exceptions, we ship a microphone out. And so we have microphones that are on the move and sometimes not on the move, sometimes sitting for a little while. But we ship them all over the place and they get banged up and have problems. And we've definitely replaced a few mics along the way. So
yeah.
We seem to consume them at this point. So yeah, it's stuff like Patreon and our sponsors help pay for all that and all the stuff that is under the hood that makes this thing work. So thanks all.
Yeah, very much appreciate it.
You got something, Tom?
Yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to our friends over at Giant Mouse. They won a pretty awesome award at Blade. They got the Blade Show Import Fixed Blade of the show. So that's a pretty awesome award, and it's for their Giant Mouse F1 XL. And that's actually available on their site now. It's available in green canvas, and they've got some ivory-looking micarta, I think.
I think there's brass handles.
Oh, no, it's brass. Yeah, it's machined brass. That's even cooler. So, yeah, give them a check out. They're really cool. I did get to see the Danes a little bit. I was shown a prototype for something that's coming out that they've got that's even cooler. I'm not going to say much about that because I don't know how much I'm supposed to say, but give the F1 XL a check out. I think you're going to really like it. It's good seeing you guys also at Blade.
I think I might have seen that prototype, or at least maybe I got just a description of it in a picture or something.
It's like a little gentleman's folder. It's really nice.
Nice.
They showed it to me last year.
I saw that in 2017.
Yeah.
I'll see you
before
guys
they
later.
formed as Giant Mouse. Thanks, fellas, for your support. You can find them at giantmouse.com or on Instagram at giantmouseknives.
Yeah. Great people.
Great people.
I didn't finish my job, I guess. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I didn't remember if you said it or not, so I wanted to make sure. And Jim and Jesper and Jens, they do really nice work with keeping stuff online and nice pictures and fun drops, so definitely check them out. We also want to say hey and thank you to Bob and Suze Terziola, Terziola.net, Terzuola.net. You can check out Bob's 2 different series there, A Sharp Life and Shop Talk. So 2 different ways you can get some content. One of them is a video series, basically a masterclass in knife craftsmanship, 12-part series. You pay once and get access to it for a lifetime. That's A Sharp Life. The other one is Shop Talk. That's actually kind of like a knife club thing, sort of. Like you get weekly Zoom calls and deep dive videos. So you can ask Bob for help with stuff or insights. They got swag for those people, all kinds of cool stuff. So Shop Talk has got a wait list. You can join the wait list, or you can go just get the Sharp Life video series. And then Suze has a podcast of her own called The Knife Wife. So check out Susie's podcast. We were talking about it a little bit before the show. So please go check out Suze's show.
We like everything they're doing over there. And last but not least, we've got kind of a newer one, Knife Joy. They have custom knives. They have production knives. That's knifejoy.com. Our friend Jade is over there. And you can subscribe to their newsletter to get like their drops when Jade goes to a show or whoever goes to a show and brings back some good quality knives. And they also have a Knife Joy Plus that you can join just by purchasing some of the stuff, where you get kind of, I think, some better pricing and fun stuff like that. So we appreciate you guys, supporting the podcast. Go check them out because they support us. It's knifejoy.com.
Yeah, they got a really nice selection of stuff over there. I like Susie's description of her show. This podcast is not about knives, period. Sometimes, Suze, I think our podcast is not about knives, to be completely honest.
Yeah, and looking at the pictures, they got a nice setup. It looks all professional. I'm just sitting here in my shop.
Yeah.
I just scooch my knife crap to the side. So.
I think Suze and Bob are going to a studio. I think they're using a little studio space. But yeah, it's very jazzy compared to what we do. Very jazzy.
Yeah, looks cool. There's no photos of ours. That's why.
That's exactly why.
I barely have room on my desk for my laptop.
It would be usually 4 lame selfies, like with the whole turkey neck. That's what ours would look like. All right. So thanks to all of our sponsors, supporters, friends on Patreon, everybody else. We appreciate you. All right. Let's talk about what we're going to do. Blade Show 2024. So Michael, Tom, both of you guys went to the show, right?
Yeah.
It was a fun show.
Yeah.
It was more than I expected. We weren't sure if we were going to go, but we found out from friend Philip that Rolling Stones were going to be playing that Friday night. So we're like, well, let's take the kids and hit it again. And it ended up being quite a fun show because I had such a great time last year just walking around and seeing the show without like having knives. Having no money part.
No pressure.
Sucked. Yeah. That part really sucked. And I don't know if I can do that again because 2 years in a row is a bit much. But I loved just doing it, the actual act of walking around and getting to see things and see products and other knives, the materials I wanted to see and buy. That was important to me. So I really enjoyed it again. But yeah, the lack of money, boy, that sucks.
Yeah. You guys aren't used to going to a show home and coming home with less money than when you left.
Oh, it hurts, because I went for a specific reason. That was basically I wanted mother of pearl and lots of it, even though I'd already bought a bunch of mother of pearl. I ordered more.
Can you have too much mother of pearl?
Apparently not.
Yeah.
So I accomplished that, but yeah, at a very deep cost.
Yeah.
Now, what about you, Tom? What was your prep like?
So we worked pretty much right up until when we wanted to leave at noon, and then we worked like 5 more hours. So, I mean, that's normally how it goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ben is still learning the whole show thing. I'm probably not a great influence on him because
What?
in this area, let's say this area, right? But I tend to not start on my knives probably until the week before, maybe. But I've been doing prep work for the last month behind the scenes that you don't see. So while I'm not actually working on those knives, they come together pretty quick. Ben, on the other hand, he didn't start until Monday on the week we were leaving on.
Oh boy,
Wednesday.
Good.
And I was
Lord.
like, he I guess that's not quite true. He had done a little bit on Thursday and Friday, but I don't think he ended up taking those knives because he was like, I'm not going to get these done. So he worked on the other ones, which I don't know. But I was like, dude, and he was freaking out like Thursday, Friday. And I'm like, here's the thing. Come in Sunday. I'll help you if we need. My knives are almost done. And basically I was like, I've got my folders done. I'm trying to get a few fixed blades. Whatever I get done, I get done. I don't really care. I've changed the way I do shows. You know, I used to not do anything for a month and take a whole bunch of knives and come back with a bunch of money, but all the bills need to be paid and then you don't have any money anyway. So I don't really do that anymore. I more work up to the end and have all my bills paid when I go. So that way, you know, there's always places for extra money to go, but it's not quite as, you know, bad. So he started Monday and literally we had to leave Wednesday. So he worked crazy hours. I think he worked about 16 to 18 hours a day for 3 days.
sheesh.
and he knocked out like 5 pretty awesome pieces and had a great show. 5 or 6, I think.
Wow.
They were pretty. I saw them and they were good looking knives. But
he's really doing good, I think.
I can't do that. I can't do that stuff anymore. I tried to do it for the New Orleans one when everything just kind of went to shit and kept going to shit, and then it piled on until I was like, I'm fucking out. Too old for it.
Well, I think he decided he didn't like this as much as I tried to get him to start the week before, and he was like, I'm trying to finish orders and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but it's Blade Show. They understand.
Yeah.
Everybody will understand. But he's like, I've been trying to get these done for him. And he ended up shipping like 5 or 6 knives a week before. But I was just like, dude, it's Blade Show. You realize, look at the calendar. So
yeah,
I probably haven't set a great example, but.
Well, we've said it before, but it's a horrible balance of trying to keep some money in the bank, try to pay bills, catch up. Yeah, it's hard. On this one, I was like, well, I'll do some lotteries before, and I don't think I even got that done. I was just like, yeah. So you're trying not to think about it while you're there because, I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah. And every show, for me, every show is different, right? It's like I have to try to decide what to bring. And the economy the last year has been kind of interesting. I've changed my game over and over, and it, you know, so far I'm staying ahead of the Wolves, so that's good. But I wasn't exactly sure what to bring. And so I decided to bring that $350, $400 sweet spot for fixed blades seemed to be doing good for me. So I tried to bring some of that and put some cool micarta and stuff on it. And then I brought higher end folders, all bolstered folders. So that seemed to work too. So I don't know. I feel like I kind of did pretty good. The higher priced fixed blades, they didn't really sell very well at all. I brought several home, but I mean, you can't hit a home run every time. So when I got home, I put them up and they sold. So it's a good show.
It is a weird moving target anymore that
Dude,
I don't,
it's
like
hard.
a ghost target. I don't know what the fuck is going on sometimes. With what is hitting, what isn't, what people are liking, what they don't like. The new hotness of, as far as like makers and stuff, it is moving so fast. Like you'll see someone get like real hot and then they're gone, or it's not hot. It's like that time frame is shortened so much. It's kind of like as we've shortened our attention span, like with all the little, you know, Instagram reels and things like that. So is our like attention span for makers and stuff. Have you seen the same stuff, or am I Just
I think it's a little bit of that. I really think the economy's hurting people right now.
for sure.
Personally,
That plays a
you know.
massive part in it.
No
but I
question.
think it's causing folks to chase that dragon or whatever you want to call it, the new hotness, and buy and sell even faster.
yeah. When
to-
it was, I'll be honest, I was scared on this show. I didn't know how the turnout was going to be because of the economy and all that. So,
but the turnout was pretty wild. I
I thought
not
it was
expecting-
amazing. Yeah, we'll get to that.
So you brought I think that's a good plan, Tom. I think there's a solid, especially when things are weird. There's a solid need for stuff in that zone, that $350, $400 zone, right? Where it's still a custom knife. Somebody's still getting a cool piece from you. It's not necessarily as fancy, but
Yeah,
and it's compared to where everything's gone with pricing, right? It feels like a bargain.
Yeah.
well, I haven't raised my prices on that stuff in quite a while. So, I mean, I focused on folders for a while, and that was a year or two, and I've really not raised my prices probably in 4 or 5 years since pre-COVID. So,
But I think that competes with, like Mark was saying, but it competes with a ton of the overseas production stuff. And
yeah.
they're getting a custom fixed blade,
Exactly.
So
Yeah, some of those name brand production fixed blades are like pretty expensive.
are they? I was talking about folders. I haven't even seen kind of what the production fixed blades run.
Yeah, I think Benchmade has some pretty cool ones, but they're pretty steep. They're not much different than getting a custom from, one of in that $300 price range.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Getting a custom from your boy, Tom Crine.
Yeah, and it was interesting. Also, I talked to some of the people like Grand Prairie and some of the other people selling production knives, and they had awesome shows because I think everybody dropped down, and so then if you can't get a custom, you're getting cool production stuff, and there was some cool stuff that came out. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting dynamic, and it's it's our industry, and it's really a complex thing to follow at times.
Yeah, that was one of the great things. I did get to spend more time talking to some of these folks, and I talked to a production retailer, and they were talking about the production market, kind of the overseas and whatnot. And they said that it's a quick snap because there's so many drops that are happening all the time that when it spikes, it's usually like a couple days on a certain knife, and then it's just gone. It's already someone moving on to the next knife. So you may have something that, may do well, but it's going to happen real fast, and that's it.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting over time to see what happens, right? It's clearly a living, breathing monster of its own, the way all this stuff works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good news is if you do have a little bit of money, it is definitely a buyer's market right now.
For sure. And if you don't
Yeah.
have to sell,
Don't.
sit on your stuff.
Don't.
Buy the stuff you want.
It's coming around.
Or just sell it to your old buddy Mark.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
true.
It's weird because we'll see, you see some great deals out there, and maybe there's always great deals on like the old knives that I like, but I'm talking like the quote hot knives or whatever you're after. We'll see some of the stuff at great prices, and then a year from now, if the economy picks up or whatever, you'll see people like, man, I wish I hadn't sold that. It's like, yeah, but maybe they had to. I don't know. But if you don't have to, hold on to that stuff.
Yeah. Everybody's situation is different, right?
Of course.
But
It's just stuff.
it is just stuff in the end. That's the reality.
Yeah,
Excuse
if
me.
it's that or a house payment or whatever you got to do, food, sure as shit,
Food.
sell that stuff.
Unless it's one of Sean's.
Yeah.
And then buy the knife.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, let's get back to Blade.
Let's get back to Blade.
Back to Blade.
So we headed out Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I think we hit the road for Atlanta at about 6 p.m.,
Yeah, you crazy.
which is a fun time.
Yeah.
we stocked up on Red Bull and the little. I really like those little Starbucks espresso. It's a really small can because it doesn't make you have to pee, right?
Good Lord.
So, what?
I'm fucking mainlining caffeine over.
Yeah, give me a
Well,
panic attack over here just thinking about it.
I don't usually do that much caffeine anymore. I limit myself pretty hard, but in my mind, it's always better to take more caffeine than crash. That's the way I look at it. But I think it's a pretty solid look.
Oh boy.
So
Spoken like a true former medical professional.
so we
God.
we headed out and we our plan was to stop somewhere. We usually get a hotel somewhere around Birmingham, and we made it to like Tupelo. So not bad. I mean, it's a little over half. So we got up and we were there by noon, which was an easy drive. And me and Ben and I think Kevin helped us carry in the and Keith got there while we were setting up too. We set up our booth. And then what was cool was they haven't had these for a while. I think they did some Thursday classes in the past for Blade University, but they asked me to teach a class, and I hit up my buddy Luke to help.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Because he's always a good counterpoint. We work well together in that kind of a situation.
Nice.
And we've taught a lot of classes together, but they asked us to teach a class, and it's kind of funny because I was like, I don't know if I should be teaching this, but we had fun. It was how to sell at Blade. And then I didn't sell out. I knew I was going to jinx myself, but it's always a crapshoot. But we had a blast. We stayed about an hour longer than the class was scheduled, and just had a great time. I really like the idea of Thursday classes because makers can attend, right? So if you have maybe 3 classes on Thursday, all of a sudden, gear them towards makers, and then, makers can't attend in the other classes because you're usually having to work your table or whatever. So that could be a really cool thing. So,
Did you guys do the whole show of hands, who's a maker and who's not?
everybody was.
Everybody was?
There was, I think, 1 or 2 that were not makers, but were like production, selling production
okay.
stuff. But everybody was exhibiting at the show.
Well, that's cool.
I don't think there may have been makers that weren't exhibiting, but I think everybody was an exhibitor or there with an exhibitor badge.
Very interesting.
But pretty decent turnout. I think there was maybe 25, 30 people. So,
Did they give you any kind of, I was going to ask about feedback, right? And okay, right. I'm sure you have people, the fact that you stayed long, people probably like that, or maybe that's why you stayed long, or yeah. I'm sure people come up at the end and say nice stuff. I'm confident because you guys both know how to speak. But do they give you any other kind of feedback apparatus, like a little survey thing or anything at all like that?
No. One thing that was really cool, one of the people in the class reached out and they were like, hey, just wanted to let you know, because we gave a lot of tips and stuff. They're like, we took notes. We did everything you said that we could, and we sold twice as much as we have ever sold.
Wow.
So I don't know if that was us or just the show was good. So all
right.
I'm going to say it was us, but I'm sure it was probably the show was good.
Yeah. Take credit for that. That's fine.
But yeah, they reached out and that was really cool. And then, there was a couple people in the class that, we've kind of stayed in touch with, and that's been fun. And had a cool time. And it's always good to teach, and you get feedback, in the class, and you learn anytime you teach, you learn as much as you put out just from preparing and also from feedback from during the classes. So I love to teach, and we had a great time.
What was like one of your hot tips? You going to give one of those out for free? Asking for a friend?
Yeah, I mean, well, we had a lot of, I don't have my notes here, but we had a lot of things that we touched on from prep before the show, social media, that kind of thing, to how you set up your table, to how you actually engage. You have to engage. And the whole thing is trying to get people to stop. And whether that's shaking hands or standing in front of your table or, whatever. And just, you don't have to be a great conversationalist. You just have to have a few things, how's your show, where you're from, blah, blah, blah. You got to engage, get them talking.
Yeah.
And then you stand out different from everybody else. And if they like you, they're more likely to buy your knives. And that's what we kind of stress. They buy the maker as much or more than the knives, if you've got a good product, even if you don't have a good product.
I think that pre-show engagement is probably one of the most important. I think people have a certain amount of money, and if they know, oh, I'm here to buy this, or I want to get one of those, it makes sense.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Let people know what you're bringing. I mean, good photos, a good social media presence, that seems to be very important. It's not something that any of us love to do, but it's necessary. And, we had a whole bunch of stuff like that. And, Luke and I do it differently. And we talked on that a little bit. So, I don't know. I feel like it went really well.
I bet it did.
We had like a page of notes, and we got through everything. And, obviously we tried not to be negative, but there are things that you shouldn't do. And we kind of went over some of those and stressed the things that you should do. And you got to be positive. It's got to be an attitude where people want to talk to you. If you're scowling and angry or sitting down or out smoking, it makes it hard to sell.
Yeah.
So you mentioned prep for the show. Was Ben in the class by chance?
That's what I chuckled about. I was thinking about
I heard you laugh when he said it.
He does take great photos. So
there you go.
We just put all new flashes in the studio and all that stuff. So his photographs are pretty spot on.
The spin up to the show is a big deal because my opinion or my observation as a buyer at a show is certainly the first bunch of times I went to Blade Show, I absolutely had a list of like, okay, I saw this guy's coming. He's going to have this. At least I want to see it, right? Even if I don't or can't buy it, or if it's in a lottery, at least I want to have a shot at it, whatever. So lots and lots of people. The money in the room has a list, right? Certainly not universally, but maybe in their head or oftentimes written down. You see stuff in people's hands at the show, right? They got a map, and they got stuff circled on the map. Like, where am I going to go to find this guy because I want to see such and such that they're bringing. So yeah, I agree that you want to be on that list.
Yeah, and if you're going to Blade Show and you've never been, you need a list.
Yeah,
I mean, it's overwhelming, and if you find it once, you may not find it again. So unless it's on your list and on your map. So, for those going, you need to do your prep work also, and that's why it's important to show people what you're bringing.
Yeah, if you don't, you're guaranteed to go home and say, "Oh shit, I just spent 3 days and $1,000 to go to this show, and I didn't see anything that I wanted to see." Or I missed this super important thing that I really wanted to see.
Yeah, you're still going to see cool stuff.
Yeah.
But you may not see the cool stuff you wanted to see.
Right. Yeah, like some fancy ass Tom Crine folders.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Nice.
So yeah, that was to me, that was one of the highlights of the show, getting to do that class. And I appreciate, the Blade Show asking me to do that and letting me do it.
Yeah, that's cool. It would be really neat if they had a way to be able to get feedback to you. Like I don't know how many people are actually going to fill out like a comment card, right? But the usual shit, right? What did you think was interesting? What was valuable? What wasn't? What would you like to see that you didn't hear, right? Or what would you like us to talk about that we didn't talk about, or whatever?
Or what ideas for classes next year?
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
It would be really
Make
good.
a questionnaire.
Yeah.
Alicia, if you're listening.
Awesome. Professor Tom.
So, yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun. The nice thing was, doing it Thursday, I didn't have to get up and teach anything Friday.
Right.
So we went to a little Jewish bagel place. It was pretty awesome.
Nice.
Oh, maybe that was Saturday. I don't know. It's been a while. It's running together. But I know we didn't have to rush Friday, and we had plenty of time.
Right. To go stand in front of a grinder in the parking lot.
Nope, didn't have to do that.
Yeah. So you went on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I debate. So, my wife's parents live outside of Nashville,
Yeah.
and we drive down, and we've done it a couple times where we did it like overnight kind of drive. And man, it's an ass whip when you're in the middle of it. But boy, is it better, right? Like the traffic is not bad, and there's not as many cars on the road. It's you and a bunch of trucks basically, right? In the middle of the night. You're kind of wrecked the next day, but yeah, I go back and forth on the overnight drive.
Well, we didn't drive overnight. So, I mean, we're done by midnight or 1 or so, and it gives us an entire extra day. I mean, we literally worked 12 plus hours that day. So, and I don't mind driving. So, we loaded up, put some music on, drank some Starbucks and Red Bull, and Ben went to sleep. And actually, I think he stayed up most of the time that time, but we got in pretty good. And the next day, get up at 6 and you're there by noon.
DeRay's like, did you boys actually spend the night 30 minutes from home? Got all
Sometimes drive
jacked up.
back is like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can remember one time, the guys from Nebraska, so it was like Charles Marlowe and that crew came down, and I was going to ride to Blade with them, and they came down and got here around noon, and I still had 70 knives to sharpen. That was back in the crazy days. I had knives everywhere, and they were blown away. And we finally left around 6, and those guys, I think Charles maybe sat up front with me and talked, and everybody else crashed out, and I drove the whole, I think the whole way all night. So that was fun, but those guys are awesome. We had a great time.
Crazy. So you went Wednesday night. Michael, you guys were only there for the first part of this first day or something, right?
Yeah, we got in Thursday. We got up early Thursday and just drove the whole way. Kind of our usual. It's a lot easier with kids and iPads and whatever these days.
Right. How long of a drive is it for both of you guys?
Mine's about 10 and a half, something like that.
10 and a half?
11.
We're about 12.
Yeah. It's about the same from Michigan, right? What is it, 10 or? I think it's 10 or 10.
It's like 11, I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
All right.
It's not horrible. I mean, it sure made the next, couple drives we had to go that were like 2.5 hour drive places.
Right.
Seemed a lot shorter.
Oh yeah.
Yes. All right. So let's keep on the timeline. So Tom, you did the class thing on. Did you say you did it Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday at 6 or 5 or something.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. 4
Afternoon.
I don't know. Yeah, afternoon. We'll stick with that, dude. And what's crazy is there was a line. I think the line started Wednesday or maybe Tuesday.
Wow.
It was nuts.
The line to get into Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are way into the camping out thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm way into the sleeping in my bed.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I mean, those guys seem like they have fun. It's just not really what I want to do.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of camaraderie out there in the camping out crew.
Yeah, it's a whole thing in and of itself of, they have fun, they enjoy it. And I don't know. It's not for me, but whatever.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool if people like it.
Yes. I didn't like it.
I would think it was cool if I was younger and didn't I sleep in a bed and I get up and I ache everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that is no joke.
Sleeping on a foam pad on concrete might not be the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not if I want to walk the next day.
Right. All right. So Tom, did you stay at the Waverly or did you stay offsite or what'd you do?
Yeah. So we stayed at the Waverly. I love staying at the Waverly. It's just so convenient, right?
It is definitely hugely convenient.
It's so easy, if I need to go down, I can. If I forget something, I call Ben and he brings it or go gets it. So it's super convenient. It's getting harder and harder to get a room.
Yeah.
And talking to people, there's some pretty awesome other options that are not that far away either. So,
right.
And I think Michael has some information on that.
Yeah. So yeah, the first time I would never say that. This is the first time that I haven't stayed at the Waverly. You know, it seems like I don't know how long we've been doing this, but it's been a long ass time. It's always been the Waverly.
That's true.
It is convenient, but since I didn't have knives, I'm not whatever. And we kind of didn't. We went back and forth on where we're going to stay. If we're going to stay closer to the venue for the concert, whatever. So we kind of missed out on the Waverly. So we ended up at the Omni, which is in their ballpark village, just right across the little walkway or whatever it is. And I was kind of skeptical. I was like, all right, it's going to suck. I'm kind of, nervous about if we walk back and it's a little later with the kids and stuff. But man, it was awesome. It was literally a 2-minute walk. This little walkway, it's cleaner than the one and nicer than the one that goes across to the mall or something over there, the Cheesecake Factory and all that crap. It's really, really nice, and it kind of brings you right to that backside, which I'm not usually over there much. But the hotel was fantastic. It opened up to that whole ballpark village, and there was no game going on, but all the bars and restaurants were open. They kind of have it, it's all shut off so you can kind of get a drink and walk around with it, that little spot where we could kick a ball around, a bunch of kids. They had a concert there one night, back behind there, and it was kind of quiet. It was a nice hotel, where it didn't have that kind of roar from the pit. And this was the first year that I never even went to the pit. We just kind of hung out and did our own thing, which, bad for business, but it was kind of nice.
I went to the pit and I didn't know as many. I hardly knew people. It's kind of crazy. I think a lot of the old guys that I would know are outside, but
Smoking.
It's like on fire out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always has.
I just can't handle it out there. But inside, I found some people that I knew and hung out and talked a little bit, but I was in bed pretty early every night.
Yeah, we were, except for the concert night, we didn't have any, of course with kids too, but I don't know.
That's it. I had my kid with me. That's why I was going to bed early.
We just kind of enjoyed something completely different. It was kind of really nice. And I don't know. It just, and they kind of changed, they had like cornhole and games like that. The year before we did walk through there, not at night, but we saw that they were setting up some different, who was it? Redemption Beer or something like that used to do it, or something like that.
Yep.
I know last year we watched the awards and the kids were playing cornhole with Gus's kids, and got to have fun, and
right.
all that stuff was kind of gone. I'm like, there's no real reason to come down here. So,
yeah,
I will tell you guys, as far as the Omni, we stayed at the Omni in Texas. That's the main venue hotel, and that place was awesome. So if it's anything like that, Omni seems like a really good option.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they had a cool swimming pool on like the 4th floor that you can see you can watch a game from there if there was a game going on.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. We walked through it and we're like, oh, this is kind of neat.
Yeah,
they had
fun.
their own little bar and all this. Oh, I liked it. But as far as if I saw a bunch of people coming from there, with their cases and stuff that, you can always tell a Blade show, person from a distance. You're like, all right, he's definitely going to Blade show.
How do you tell?
Well, it's have a backpack and
black t-shirt,
cargo shorts and a beard.
Surefire signs.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo. Yeah.
So,
All right. So you guys were just at the show Friday then, Michael?
No, we went Friday and Saturday and drove home Sunday.
Oh, okay. You went Saturday too.
Mm-hmm.
But Friday, you did your purchases.
Oh, no, I did a lot of purchasing Thursday too.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday night. I went and talked to my mother of pearl guy and scored a whole bunch of very expensive mother of pearl. But that's why I was there. But, it was also, I wanted to get Fat Carbon. That was on my list. And I was able,
some of the new stuff.
I didn't get the new stuff. I just wanted the linear kind of plain carbon fiber, but I can't usually find it, usually not on their site. So I purposely went to go find it because I knew last year they had it. So,
Pro tip, just reach out to them. They'll make you whatever you want pretty quickly too.
Shit.
But yeah, just reach out. They're really solid about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got some cool stuff.
Yeah, but I didn't spend it. I mean, I did on Mother of Pearl, but as far as other stuff, I didn't get too wild. I spent a lot of the time Friday looking around, but trying not to look at the old school stuff. So I was like, all right, I don't want
to tempt yourself. Yeah, I hear you.
But it was full. I mean, Friday it was wild. I was there. Go ahead.
There was a lot of energy in the room, right?
Good God. Yeah, I was in there. I got in there bright and early, seeing if there's more shit that I needed, because I wanted to see Culpeper because they weren't open earlier, and wanted to see if they had some pieces I could get. And yeah, it was, the lines were crazy when I was walking across from the hotel.
They were insane.
Yeah, the lines were out past that, and I was like, good God.
Well, they went out the other door too.
Yeah.
So there was 2 different lines for, I don't know, different entry times.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were tons.
I don't quite know what the different, and I think there's early bird and then a VIP now or something.
I think so.
And then they go to the different rooms? Is that, I didn't quite understand.
No, I don't think there's 2 anymore. I think there's only 1. There's like a early bird and then there's the regular one. So there's 2 different lines.
Okay. So yeah, it was crazy. And then those doors opened. There was I don't know, like bagpipe thing going. I don't know where they were going.
Oh yeah.
Whole procession of people going somewhere. I don't know what the hot piece was this year. No clue, but they were going somewhere.
They were running.
Really good energy. I thought it, and I talked to several people, other makers too. We all kind of came to the conclusion that Friday was pretty awesome, and it felt like pre-COVID type shows. That to me, that's the first year that we've kind of felt that way, which surprised me honestly with the economy. But I think people were just, they wanted to get out and cut loose a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I don't. If I was, a bet man, I don't know if I would have bet on that type of crowd. I was not expecting it because the year before it was very.
I didn't think so.
Very quiet, very kind of slow. Didn't seem like there's a lot of excitement. Everyone's kind of, and I'd even had that conversation with you 2 or 3 weeks before Blade, where I asked you, do people even want to buy knives anymore, or are they just kind of buying them because that's what they do? Because. It's all kind of seems strange where it's kind of like this, it's all like a business transaction. It's like, are they excited about it, or is it just kind of like, I'll buy it. I want to buy a knife. Sure.
They felt excited.
Yeah, that room had a buzz and it was full and it stayed full.
Yeah.
And say what you want in the other room, dude, there was tons of like younger people in the Ballysong area getting excited about that too. I mean, they were everywhere.
Yeah. I saw, I mean, it seems to go.
I think it's good.
It changes, every year. It used to be like just a bunch of dudes and there's some women. And now I'm pretty much seeing all walks of life. And which
everyone's in it.
Very cool. It's interesting to see like, people may hate the word, but I like that it's inclusive to whoever wants to collect.
Yeah.
Everyone's welcome to me. Come on in.
Yep.
Yeah. This last interview Sean and I did with Jared Franklin, he was in the new room, and he said it was the first time he had gone to Blade since he went when he was young with his dad. And he was completely blown away.
Oh, I bet so.
And
that other room was loud.
Yeah. We asked him.
There was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, we asked him how what the traffic was and stuff. Because like when the new room first opened, right, people were kind of a little, what is it?
That's
some people didn't know it was
not
there.
The name, right?
I know it's not the name, but
it's called the Baller Room. Seriously, it is.
Didn't realize that till this year.
Yeah, they named it the Baller Room.
Well, there you go. The John A. Williams Baller Room. I like it.
I know, right?
They used to call it the new room when it was new. but at least that's what everybody called it.
10 years from now, I'm still going to call the new room.
The new room, yeah. Well, and that's why I asked Jared, like, was there good traffic? Was there good energy in the room back there? Because it was kind of starting to take off the last time I was at Blade, which has been a few years now. But, and people were like, no, I'm going to go back in there. It was good back there. And I think as long as people know that it's there, that was the problem early on, I think, right? Is that there were people who went to the show that didn't even know there was another space. So,
yeah,
obviously that's a thing of the past.
I think they make the normal ticket holders go through that room.
Go in through
first.
that room, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was
the VIPs go in the other room first, I think. But yeah.
But it was like, Silencer Co. was back there. There was definitely some different stuff at this one. They were kind of testing the waters, I think.
Yeah.
Was it them or was it Silencer Shop? No, it was Silencer Shop. It wasn't Silencer Co.
Kane was there, so he works for Dead Air. So
yeah, it was Dead Air. I don't know. Someone was.
No,
there.
It wasn't Dead Air. I think it was Silencer Shop.
Yeah,
and he was there. But yeah, really cool. We talked to him for a while about cans, and I enjoyed that room. There was a lot of in the booth area. There was a lot of like equipment type stuff.
Yes.
I looked at some of the new grinders that are coming out and some of the attachments, and they're really, really good.
Yeah, there's some wild shit coming out. Like we've talked about, like that's what's been amazing about this is all the equipment and supplies readily available now.
Yeah, I bought a new heat treat furnace.
Wow, a new heat treat furnace. At the show?
I did, and it was delivered Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, they drop shipped it. I'll send you. I'm going to send you guys a picture of my new heat treat area.
The Argon, right?
So yeah, I got the 18-inch one, and it's got a digital controller. I've got I need a new phone. I've got an iPhone 10, and so I'm having issues with using the program. I can't put them in for some reason because my phone is junk. But I put them in on Ben's computer or phone, and then they're on mine, and I can run it off of mine, but I can't enter a schedule. But which is irritating. But
just hold on 1 second.
What?
I all I can think of was us starting out making knives and hearing this conversation. I couldn't start my heat treat oven program from my phone.
Oh, so
inconvenient. And getting upset.
Well, that's part of the reason I bought it, because we've been having, so I've got 2 even heats, and they've done a great job for years and years, and I still have them. I sent you a picture of what I've done now. So I've got them stacked. I use them. I could have a backup for heat treating, and then I have one dedicated for tempering. And now I've got the new one. And the cool thing with the new one is it's really fast. I've got the Argon set up, but I don't have the tanks yet. So I'm going to put Argon to it, which means I won't have to use foil. And the digital controller is awesome. Like, it's unlimited. So the problem we were having is Ben's been using all these different steels, and they have different temper cycles and all this stuff. And we're limited to 12. And I've got a list, and it has number 1 is this, and number 2 is this, and 9 is snap temper or whatever, And I just assume that that's what it's going to be, because that's what I put it in. And the other day I ran a temper cycle, and it went up to 1400 degrees. I'm like, what the hell? But so he's, he was changing stuff because he needed to, and we don't have any more space. And so I was like, it's time. So now it's unlimited. I can monitor on my phone up in the shop, it alarms when it comes to temp, and it, I can do all sorts of stuff, and it's pretty awesome, the technology. And I just was like, it's time. I had to, those other blades, I had to totally anneal and reheat treat and all that stuff, which was pretty irritating, but what do you do?
Yeah, let me know how that goes. I'm intrigued, because I need a new one. I'm still using an old one. I've got 2, but the main one is still the old even heat. Kind of looks like exactly like yours on there.
Yeah, those are solid, but this new one's really fast.
Mine are old really fast as shit. The coils don't want to stay in. Yeah. No alarm, so I have to sit there and keep an eye on it. Yeah,
that's annoying. But yeah, I have my cousin make some tables. I've got on the other side, I had to make another table with expanded metal. So, and then I've got 2 benches. One's like got equipment for heat treating. The other one's like got the foil and everything. And then we've got the Rockwell tester over there. So it's crazy. Those tables, my cousin offered to paint them. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to paint them. There's like 15 cans of paint on those 3 tables. That was a big mistake. I should have had him paint them.
Yeah.
But
you guys are not doing a good job of courting Even Heat sponsorship for the show.
But Hot Shot.
No,
I love my Even Heats. I've used the hell out of them for the last 15 years. And they've got a new controller too, but this Hot Shot had a couple features that I wanted to try. And so I still use my Even Heats. I love them. Got no hate for them. And this new Hot Shot has a lot of potential, so we'll see.
Well,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
You don't like your Even Heats?
The amount of times I've had to replace the coils are frustrating. But
what are you doing to make it where you have to replace coils?
They're just they're not holding in, and I'll cut off little pieces of the old, whatever, use those as little J hooks to hold in the coil. They just don't stay in place. They sag. I have to check it every time I do it to make sure they're not sagging and touching, because once they touch, they spark out. And I
guess I don't know how that started, because I've knock on wood, I've never had a problem with mine, and they're both 15 plus years old.
I think once it starts going, it's soft brick. I mean, it probably just needs to be all taken down and new soft brick and blah, blah, but that shit ain't happening.
Probably just buy a new furnace at that point.
That's what I plan on doing.
Yeah. The nice thing, Saturday, I don't set up and do shows, and that was one of the things I pointed out in the class was you need to have a schedule. And so I did, but I don't do Saturday, so I'm out walking. But Lucas had my table on Saturday, so it worked kind of good for both of us. And, I didn't have to be there. I actually hooked up with Michael, and we walked around a little bit to start with. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
We got a good little start going, but we couldn't quite. It seemed like every time we started to go, we'd end up talking to somebody or whatever. But, I mean, I guess that's part of it, too.
This show, I feel like I saw less of the show than ever. It seemed like I would go, 15, 20 feet and I'd find somebody to talk to, and, whether it was just kind of crazy. I did a lot of talking, but I didn't see much of the show. And people that I wanted to see, even though I had a list and knew where they were, I still didn't see some of those people. I'd planned on going by Brian Good's table and possibly picking up a piece, but I never even saw him at his table.
Yeah.
I never made it there, so it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, there was a ton of people I didn't see, and that was kind of my whole thing, was to see people. See things and see people, and I still missed a bunch.
Yeah, it's kind of a first world problem a little bit, right? I've had that I haven't done a ton of shows in the last couple of years, but I've done a couple, and it's like you come in the door, I end up having really nice extended conversations with 15 people, and I don't see a lick of the show, right? Which is a first world problem, right? It's awesome because it's a bunch of people that I enjoy spending time with and hanging out and chatting with. And
exactly.
But like on my way there, I'm walking by a bunch of tables like, oh shit, I got to come back and look at that. And then, the show's over.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's like we sit there and talk to the guy that runs the opened up the EDC store, EDC Springfield EDC. Him and his wife were there.
Yeah.
So we sat there, and Keith Curry, our friend, was sitting there talking to us, and he knows him. And I'm like, how do you know him? And he's like, well, I come to town. He comes into Springfield, and I guess he sees him. I'm like, oh, that's all right. That's cool. Glad you're stopping by there, but not stopping by my house.
Right. Come on, Judge. What are you doing?
But I guess it's 5 minutes from, where he's staying at. So that was interesting. But it's like he's, 15 minutes away, but, we sat there and chatted for quite some time.
Keith knows everybody.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, we had some good conversations. We talked to some of the good makers and older makers. And
I ended up talking to Edmund Davidson for 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah?
Which was kind of cool, because back in the day, him and Bob were pretty good friends. I think they still are. But when I worked there, we were buying some cut-off steel from a company one of our friends ran, Teledyne, and he got like a pallet of surface ground cut-off A2 and D2 that was thick enough for integrals. And and maybe some S7, and he probably hasn't had to buy steel in the last 20 plus years. And we talked about that and just talked about business and life, and it was actually pretty cool.
The wildest part about that whole conversation was he was like, "This air conditioning." Like,
it was so cold in there.
Really?
It was, well, he was talking about it stuffing him up or whatever. He's like, yeah, we don't have air conditioning at home. Lives in Virginia or whatever. And Tom was like, "You live in like a higher area?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Oh boy."
Damn.
Yeah. Old school.
But I did. It was weird. I don't feel like it was as hot as it usually is. I saw people wearing coats at the show, which was really strange to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like I saw several people wearing coats. I mean, I was comfortable, but I got plenty of insulation.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, you were going to say that? Thanks.
No. I was going to say, I think most times that I've been to Blade Show, if I wore a coat, I probably would end up as a big puddle of bacon grease. That's it.
It's usually so humid,
Yes.
and it was nice.
It was pretty nice.
And it was
Wild.
Once again, Saturday, the lanes were full. It was crazy. I mean, it was a lot of, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I do want to say, and I'm sure you saw this, but Grace came to my booth and she was so excited. Grace Horn.
Yeah.
She got a new piece for her collection and it was crazy. So I guess it's a piece she saw in a book and has been chasing for a while.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's a pair of scissors that is a sword. It's like a legit, 4-foot sword. And it's in immaculate shape. It was really cool. She was so excited. And it was such a cool piece.
I remember her sharing pictures of that right after the show, or maybe even from the show.
She just got pro photos done. I think they just got out like this week
Oh, wow.
of it.
Did you see it in person?
No, which sucks. I didn't even see Grace.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got to
man.
handle it, so it was kind of cool. But we were cutting stuff with the scissors. No, we weren't. Just kidding. Just kidding, Grace.
Other scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an amazing piece, though.
She's going to be at Portland. I look forward to talking to her.
I'm so frustrated that she's doing a class after that,
Yeah.
and I won't be around for it.
Yeah.
She's doing another class. I just talked to Jason. She's doing 2 at Jason's place, and I think both of them are already sold out.
Yeah.
10 people in each one, I think.
Grace Horn in demand.
Of course.
Very
Just
cool.
let me-
Glad you got to see those.
Let me learn some
Yeah.
scissor stuff.
Yeah.
It was fun. This was a fun show. For me, I don't know. It felt like I took a lot of PayPal this time.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
So I felt, I don't know if what that indicates, but I took a significant percentage more, which is fine. It all goes there anyways. But I was able to get some pretty cool materials and some other stuff too. So that was actually pretty fun. And Ben was able to buy some really nice Mammoth and Koa and some different stuff. We picked out materials. Usually I get to do that with Michael, but we didn't really do that much this year.
Yeah. I got to talk to some interesting people. I talked to Vince Evans' wife twice. Didn't see him once.
Nope.
But
I bought a book from her, so that's cool.
Very cool books. And, he had that Viking piece on that wasn't there, I don't think, when we stopped by again. But goddamn, they're gorgeous pieces.
Didn't he win another? What award did he win? Was it best of show or?
I don't know. I didn't go to the award show this year, but hopefully all of them.
Yeah, he definitely won something on one of his swords.
Yeah. I got to talk
his
to
stuff is amazing.
Yeah, man. I think I posted, was it in Mark and the Maker or my group about the older gentleman I talked with for a bit? That had the autos and the stuff and just interesting people like that you make, I don't know, it makes you wonder, does he know about social media? Does he care about it? Does it matter?
Right.
Just kind of solid, good looking pieces that he started making folders when he retired. And I don't know, but he was standing there smiling. What do you say it was, 82 or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting how, like, I consider myself in the industry, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many people and faces that I don't know. It's crazy. It's like, I don't know where they are, and it's interesting, when you start finding some of these people and you start looking, where are they selling, how are they selling? And it's, it's not like the old forum days where everybody was on the forums. It's here, there, everywhere kind of thing. And it's like, if you're not specifically looking for something, with the way the algorithms are now, you aren't going to find anything specifically. And it's kind of interesting. I mean, that's a big deal in the industry, and I don't know how we combat that or get around it. I guess we don't.
I think we say industry and we're referring to the industry we know, but I think there's parts of the industry we just don't know that may be huge.
100%. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting.
It ain't the crowd or the audience that it was, right? It's different.
No, I mean, things are what they are, period. We can't go backwards, but I did love the time when everybody had on a USN badge and you're walking around and you're like, oh, hey, you, and, you still didn't know anybody's name, but you knew their forum names and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a different time, and it was not necessarily a worse time or a better time. It was just a different time, I guess. But I do remember it fondly.
I do too. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was, I guess, manageable in my head.
Right.
The amount of people, it seemed like it was almost like maybe it was a bubble. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't great for everybody. I don't really know, but I just know that in my head it was like, okay, we kind of have a handle on what's going on, and you knew everything that was going on, at least in that group, that area.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like I can't keep up with anything. Hell, what I'm doing half the time.
Yeah, the community aspect of that was really, really cool, right?
Yeah.
And I think that set up a whole bunch of the things that we talked about early in this discussion when Tom was talking about his class, right? About getting stuff out there and getting people excited and interested to come see stuff and that kind of thing. And, you do it through Facebook and Instagram now, but it feels a little less personal for whatever reason. I don't know why. Even though it's allegedly people's real names and we weren't using real names on the forum, right? But you spent enough time there that it kind of felt like it.
Yeah, but you knew Judge Dog. Knew him.
We knew him. Yep. Still do.
Yeah. Still do. He's still with us.
Yeah.
Maybe not in your part of town, but he's still in Springfield on occasion.
He's probably here now.
I think that was last week.
Too funny.
But yeah, Michael picked up a bunch of pearl, and Ben actually picked up some too, I think. But my thing was stag. I was looking for stag this year, and I brought home quite a bit.
Nice.
It was a big haul.
I got some nice stag. I got some pretty nice ironwood, which has been really hard to find. Have you seen that, Michael? Like the good ironwood, have you found it difficult to find?
I haven't been looking a lot because the stuff I did buy and use actually moved more than ironwood ever used to. And
oh, wow.
It kind of got me a little, I don't know, gun shy, I guess.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. And ironwood's like, I don't give a shit. I ain't moving.
Right. Yeah, I haven't had that. A lot of times I'm gluing it down, but I'm actually working on a folder right now with ironwood, so hopefully it doesn't move.
Yeah.
But I only bought one piece of mammoth, but I got a few cool pieces at the show. I did a little pregame with Bobby Branton, so I picked up a couple Carolyn Tinker pieces, which are I thought were pretty cool.
Nice.
As far as old school history, these are about as cool and old school as you get. I mean, literally first woman knife maker in the guild. And dude, the pictures look good, but these things are really ground well. They're thin. They're still tight, like they're wood handles, and there's no gaps or you can't feel the spine or any of that. So it's kind of cool.
Awesome.
I'm pretty impressed with them, and Bobby hooked me up, so I appreciate that.
Are these the pieces he showed us before? Or is he unearthed some? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I picked up 2 at the show.
Oh, nice.
Also, congrats to Bobby. He won a pretty awesome award at the show. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
What was the award?
It was like an industry. I forget what it was called. I should have looked.
Like an industry icon kind of thing.
Yeah, it was something for his dedication and longstanding work with knife throwing and promoting.
Yeah.
It was a really cool award. I can't remember what they called it, but it was a big deal and couldn't go to a better guy. So
Yeah, no
awesome.
doubt.
Sure.
Well deserved.
No doubt. Congrats, Bobby. Well deserved for sure. I'm sure I bet Bobby, maybe you got a little emotional about that. It's nice to get that kind of recognition.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I was able to score a Winkler axe.
Ooh.
They're only making it this year. I think it's the 24 camper, and they're only doing 10 in Marblewood, and I got one of those.
Wow.
I got a Lady Death from RMJ, and also one of the little spikes Ryan's making.
Very cool.
And what else? Oh, I got one of the Heli Laplanders. It's one of their new models that I really like.
Nice.
And yeah, that's about it. It was a good show.
Whiz. No kidding.
Yeah.
You brought
0 knives for
more
me.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Did your kids get any knives this year?
No.
Wow. 2 days at Blade Show and nobody got knives?
No knives.
Dang.
And I'm like a little kid at Blade Show. I love bringing a little bit home, and it's like that Lapland, the Heli Lapland. It's a hell of a knife. I really like it. It's a big.
It wasn't from lack of desire. It was lack of money.
Yeah, you bought a lot of nice mother of pearl. But yeah, I think
money.
I spent probably more than I should have on Stag. But to me, those materials, it's like having it in the bank. Even if I never use it, I still enjoy it. I started buying Cocobolo a while back, and I really like Cocobolo. I hardly ever put it on a knife, but I like it. So I've got some really nice Cocobolo.
I like Cocobolo too. Such a pretty wood, man.
Jody Muller told me a long time ago when it comes to the fancy materials, is like, you buy it when you see it.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
exactly.
You have to.
It's good advice.
Don't
For
know
me,
when
it's
gonna
like
be gone.
Well, and I have to do it at shows, and like I bought more this year than I normally do because like I planned on picking it up in Texas, but they weren't there. You know, they had an emergency and a family emergency, and they weren't there. So then I ran out of Stag, and that's never good. So
yeah,
starting to stock up a little bit more.
Stag
and I
is
seem to
kinda
go.
like, go ahead.
I seem to be going to less shows too. So, anyways, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think Stag's kind of like the Black Lip. And that was the main thing, is I have to look at Black Lip to buy it. Black Lip Mother Pearl. Because it's just, you never know. There's little minute cracks. You don't know how much, transparency there is to it. It's just, there's a lot that goes into that. I really need to see it.
Well, yeah, and Stag's the same way, maybe even more so, because I can sort through it pretty quick, but it's like shape. Does it match side to side? Is it color right side to side? Is there pith? Is there, and the whole piece doesn't have to be nice. That's a misconception. You have to know how to use it and what your goal is. And, there's a few things you got to look for, color and pith, and, you get pretty quick at it. I don't know. It's fun. I enjoy that. So
yeah,
a little bit of Stag to play with.
When it comes to that stuff, I generally build a knife around the piece. I'll buy the stuff, get the plan in my head then, and then I'll build it. I don't try to force natural material to be something it doesn't want to be.
Well, I kind of select knowing like my handles are a certain shape, so I know what it will work on and what it won't work on. And I don't do as many full custom pieces as you. Someday maybe, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a very interesting insight to both of our little minds, wasn't it?
That was
Yeah.
quite a rabbit hole. So you guys didn't do the old knife walk around as much this year.
We kept starting and stopping.
We tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for about 2.5 some hours, we got maybe down one row, and then my family's like, the kids are getting real bored, so
Yeah.
I scooted out and did more family stuff.
Right.
And I just kind of hit people I wanted to talk to, and I talked to Ryan a long time, so that was good. And,
Yeah. Ryan Johnson from RJ.
Brian Johnson, correct.
We need to get Ryan on the show. How many times have we said we're going to have Ryan on the show?
Dude,
About
it would be
100.
awesome. Yeah, he's a good storyteller.
Yeah, he'd be excellent.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sure.
I had a great show. I feel like it was a success. I feel like Alicia's crew did an awesome job, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it was busy. It was full. There was lots of stuff to look at. I don't know. It was fun. I got to make a plan for next year to see what I'm going to do. If it's more production based, or I don't know. 'Cause I kind of don't want to miss it again. But maybe there'll be some changes next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you might go and exhibit next year.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. There's maybe some stuff going on.
Nice.
Yeah, I highly recommend, if you're a customer, come to Blade Show. It'll kind of blow your mind if you've never been, if you're not used to huge trade shows like SHOT or something like that. And this doesn't compare to SHOT, but it will kind of blow your mind, and you'll get a little vertigo, and it's more than a little overwhelming when you walk in for the first time. And
Well, it kind of seems like some of our friends, and as far as makers and collectors, some of the older folks in this game, whatnot, they're like, well, it's become kind of industry. It's not fun anymore. But I've managed to find quite a bit of fun still, and maybe some of that fun was because we were doing the same stuff over and over. Maybe we change it up, go different places, see different things,
Yeah.
There's still lots to see and lots to do. It's a good show. It's a fun show.
A lot of good food in the area. And yeah, how much more fun could you have than sharing a meal with, a maker or some friends from Facebook or wherever? It's just good to break bread and develop those friendships. I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and make new ones, right? That's.
Oh, of course.
I always came home from Blade Show knowing more people than I went.
Yeah.
Than I did when I went there, and that's pretty cool, right? And some of them are people you end up being friends with for a long, long time, which is awesome.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
All right. You guys got anything else you want to hit on with Blade Show?
I
No.
don't think so.
Once again, sorry for the late wrap up show.
Yeah. It is what it is, man. We all got stuff going on. We got to hear about Birch's ambiguous, mysterious plan, maybe, for next year.
Maybe. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen with it yet.
He's going to show up in the khaki shirt at the CRKT booth. Michael Birch, designer.
I don't know.
You never know.
Never know.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks again to our friends on Patreon, the guys from Giant Mouse, Bob and Suze, and Knife Joy. We appreciate all your support, and we appreciate everybody who listens, right? We have folks that support the show, and we have folks that listen to the show, and sometimes they're both, and sometimes they're not. But if you took the time to sit and listen to us go on and go down the deep, dark material rabbit hole with Michael and Tom, we appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you all very much.
If you're a maker, you get the material thing.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're a customer, we got cool materials now.
That's
ready
right.
to build.
I was scribbling on my pad of paper.
Whoa.
Cocobolo Hydra, Bug Tom. I got it.
Birch, mother of pearl.
Yeah, right.
Just because I have it doesn't mean I'm ready to use it yet.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. Michael's not using any of that. He's just building a mountain.
I like to collect it.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird thing we do,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes us feel good, so it's all good.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes us feel secure. Got a little extra stag, a mammoth. When people come to your shop, it's pretty cool to be like, hey, look at this drawer. It's mammoth. And they're like, huh?
Weirdos.
And this is meteorite.
Right. Yeah.
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 Appreciate you guys.
Yep. Hey, thanks all for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Take care.
To learn more about our makers, you can find Tom Crine on the web at crineknives.net, in his Facebook group, Crine Knives, or in his Instagram account, at Crine Knives. For Michael Birch, check birchtreeblades.com, Facebook group Birch Tree Blade Works, or Michael's Instagram at birchtreeblades. For myself and the Raygun Bead Project, we're on the web at raygundivision.com. We have a Facebook group called Raygun Division, or my personal Instagram, at msteiner. For those interested in photos, references from the show, or some discussion about the show itself, you can find us on the web at markofthemaker.com, in a Facebook group called Mark of the Maker, or on our Instagram, at Mark of the Maker. Last but not least, the ultra cool and haunting background music we use for the show is a piece called Noir Guitar by Stevie's Amp Shack, found at the Free Music Archive and licensed under Creative Commons CC BY 4.0. Thanks for listening.